My portfolio was just quite basic. I wanted to scale up and do bigger things. Went to the crash course and thought, this is amazing. I was like, okay, now I'm going to go and try to find a deal.
You've had to fight with the council, you've had to fight with builders, you've had to fight through COVID.
A large commercial site, like a shopping mall, and financing it myself.
Did you have any idea when you came to the crash course how much you would achieve in the last 3-4 years? Can you say any of the tenants who've approached you, or was it confidential? So every week, Kamron, as you know, I interview somebody on Winners on a Wednesday.
Yes.
And they're financially free, they've become a millionaire, whatever it might be, and I've been doing that for 6 years.
Yes.
However, some of my viewers say, well, where are they now? You know, all those people that you interviewed 3 years ago, where are they now? So I interviewed you on Winners on a Wednesday about 3 years ago.
That's correct, yeah.
And I wanted to know what you've been up to since and where are you now? So are you still in property? How much are you making? What's going down?
Yeah, I'm still in property. I've got a few things in the pipeline, but yeah, I've been really busy with, helping family, on a couple of projects and stuff. So, and, I've got a land deal that's in Scotland, which I'm waiting for the right moment to start putting in for planning. Obviously finishing off things in Doncaster, which you'll be aware of, which took me a bit longer. Changed a bit of a strategy, decided to go with something that's really high end from what I originally was going to do, which has worked out great. And I've got 2 deals right now in the pipeline, well, possibly another one as well. One's 2 mid-terraces north of England with a commercial unit in the middle, large car park, which we're going to hopefully develop the car park as well, and the commercial and the 2 end terraces into apartments, like
nice.
one bedroom apartments. HMOs are great, but they involve a bit of management and, so I thought, go for self-contained kind of luxury 1 bedroom apartments that can be structured in a way and built in a way that we can add a bit of luxury and not having to deal with all the bills and paying everything. Looking at my experience with HMOs now as well, and I'm thinking, well, let's do something where a bit of a single let, but on a kind of, for a single person that's nice and luxurious and not have the responsibilities of all the bills, and especially in this current market.
Yes. One of the things you're amazing at is problem solving, and the deals that you've been tackling and taking on, buying and flipping, are some of the most troublesome properties. You've had to fight with the council, you've had to fight with builders and contractors, you've had to fight through COVID. But it's paying off now.
Yeah, definitely. It's not easy. And I think the mindset you have to kind of adopt to the problems is just don't give up. Work at it. You will find a solution. And sometimes it's little steps that resolve the bigger problems.
Yeah.
And I think you have to be just really determined. And there's solutions for everything. I think there's 3 solutions for every problem, no matter.
3 solutions?
Yes.
Why do you say that?
Okay, 3 solutions, all right. There's one solution that's probably quite difficult. There's a second solution that might be easier. And then there's one solution that is just phenomenal. And it's finding the one that's phenomenal. And it just takes a bit of time.
But most people will see a problem and they'll just say, there's no solution. But you're saying, oh, there's loads of solutions.
Yeah, there is. There's always a solution. It's a case of what one's going to be the most cost effective, what one's going to work with this development, and what's going to be the easiest, And I think, coming across problems and learning how to deal with them is the key.
You've bought a couple of big commercial properties very recently.
Yes, I have.
Tell me about them.
Okay, the first one is the 2 end terraces with the commercial aspect. Now, our plan, we've got pre-app in for that, is to turn it into the apartments.
Right.
We've got a large car park, which is a bit of a troublesome site, with lots of issues, vandalism, the council, people dumping stuff there. So the council would love to see something done with it, which is where we step in and hopefully, we'll be able to improve that site. Second site is, it's a large commercial site, like a shopping mall with a large car park.
That's big project, that one.
Yes.
Oh, mate, could you tell I was envious when you showed me that?
Yeah.
Well, I was like, how are you financing this? You know what I'm saying? Like, do you need any finance? Do you need any partners? And you're like, nah, I'm good. I'm financing it myself.
Yes, I'm financing it myself. And yeah, it's interesting because, I'm loving the commercial aspect of it because I've done it in one of my previous projects in Doncaster. getting the right commercial tenant with my experience in retail and commercial kind of stuff, I think, finding a spot and thinking, what's missing? Maybe a coffee shop, maybe, a spa, maybe a retail unit. But then again, people are saying the high street is gone. Commercial units are so cheap, but finding the right kind of commercial unit and repurposing it for one of the service industries.
Yeah. That's where the big money is.
Yeah.
Like that site that you're getting for 275 grand. Is that what it is?
Yes.
How are you buying a mall for 275 grand? And it's huge.
Yes.
And you're already being approached by some of the biggest companies in the world.
Yes. And I think, that...
Can you say any of the tenants who've approached you, or is it confidential?
Yeah, well, I can tell you ones. There's like Morrison's Daily, who are expanding, all over the UK.
Are they keen to be tenants of yours?
Yes, massively.
Very keen?
Yes, I've got their emails and the chat.
Are they keener to be your tenant, or are you keener to have them as a tenant?
To be honest, I'm not really bothered.
Why?
Because I've been in retail. I've been in retail for 33 years. I sold my retail business in October. The large ones were the guys that were putting us independents out of business. So I know that site, if one of the bigger companies doesn't take it, I'd be happy to give it to an independent operator that's competent and is aware of what they're doing. Why not? Because, from my experience, the larger kind of multinational companies, they start dictating to you, we want this X, Y, and Z. Why should I have to do exactly what they say? I want to be in control here. And if I can give an independent person the opportunity, knowing that they're interested means that they'll be suitable for an independent operator as well.
And I've seen some of your shops and I've seen some of your buildings and we've been out and your tenants are killing it.
Yeah,
Your tenants are making good money.
Of course.
Running their business.
Yeah, and it makes a massive impact on the independents. The independent business should be supported,
Yeah.
And it changes communities as well and people.
Can you explain how commercial leases are important and how they affect commercial valuations, what the link is?
Yeah. So commercial lease is generally, is a FRI, which is a full repair insure lease, which your tenant is responsible for maintaining that building, that unit, as far as when it goes to any repairs. So you give them a building that's in a condition, they have to return it to you at the end of their lease, or if you choose to end the lease or they choose to end it. Commercial leases can be something that you can sit down with your solicitor and kind of design it around what suits you.
Yeah.
I've got a tenant at 21-year lease. He's delighted, he's quite happy with everything. He has to contribute to the insurance of the building as well every year. And the thing with commercial leases is that it's not like when you have a tenant in the residential side. If they don't pay their rent in 4 weeks' time, you can have them out.
Yeah.
They have to leave. It's an easier process and you get to keep the money. So if your commercial tenant is paying you £2,000 a month, that's yours. You don't have to go and paint the walls and do maintenance internally. Also, you can have a service charge if it's part of a larger building that the commercial tenant has to contribute to keep the fabric of the building in good condition. So I think it's commercial strategies are great.
And in terms of the valuation, you're not guessing so much. You kind of know what the evaluation will be pretty much exactly.
Yeah, because when you've got a tenant on a long lease, you can approach, a bank and say, okay, I've got a 21-year lease. They're paying me £25,000 a year. And they'll be like, okay, so generally, for £25,000, it'll be about 200. This is just rough. It'll be £250,000 commercial valuation. Sometimes it's a little bit more, depending on the area.
Yeah, depending on the yield, depending on the quality of the tenant.
And also, there's another aspect to the commercial side as well. Sometimes having, a commercial property that is vacant has actually got more value than when it's rented out. So how you come across this analogy of this is that if it's in a location that you maybe get one of the larger commercial tenants that are worldwide or national, there's a possibility they could move in there. Right. So you've got an empty commercial property, you can possibly keep it empty. Or, some people will say, I don't want to keep it empty, I want to get a tenant in there quickly. And you might rush and say, I'll make it into a barber shop, or I'll make it into a hairdresser or a retail unit, convenience store, whatever. And you might take on an independent person and just, you possibly get a little less. You probably get a quarter of what you could get.
Yeah.
So when that property is vacant, if a commercial surveyor comes out, he'll say, oh, well, there's a possibility that the bigger companies, national companies, will take that unit. So they can actually give you a valuation on the assumption that this would be suitable.
Right.
For one of the bigger national companies. You know, I learnt this from a commercial surveyor that I met, and she went through the process, explained it to me, and I was like, that's crazy.
That's great though. Yeah. How are you getting in touch with these bigger tenants? So Morrison's, for example, how did that connection happen? Tell me the story.
Okay, that happened through an agent that, you know, we were looking at a commercial building, and he said that there's been some interest, just as I got on well with the agent, and he said as a sideline to this commercial unit, we have got this, Morrison's Daily that are interested in the site. Obviously, you have to possibly design it in a way that it'll be suitable for them. You might have to do some shots.
So the surveyor tipped you off?
Yeah.
And the surveyor's a fan of me as well, right?
Yes, he is. Yes.
Of course. Everybody in the industry is a fan of me.
Of course, which was great because, he was a young surveyor, wanted to know, well, how did you get into this? I'm blown away by what you're thinking of doing. With my business partner was there, George, as well. He was just intrigued about our property journey. I told him a little bit about yourself and my journey with Samuel Leeds, my training, and he went away in his break and went on to onto your website and had a look at some of the stuff and he was like, I spent my whole lunch just online.
Even your tenants, you've told all your tenants about me, they're coming up like, oh yeah, we watch you on YouTube now. All the people that you keep introducing to me as well now.
There's some great content out there, for people that are maybe interested, have a look at it, go further, get educated. Do one of the courses, come to the crash course.
Yes. Well, that's where you started.
100%.
I mean, you came to it. When did you first come to the crash course?
Was it 2020, I think?
I think it might have been around 2020,
yeah,
beginning.
It was 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Did you have any idea when you came to the crash course how much you would achieve in the last sort of 3-4 years?
No idea, no.
Because you had a few properties.
Yes, I did, yeah.
A few sort of just normal buy-to-let properties. And then you refinance those?
Yeah, it was my, portfolio was just quite basic buy-to-let portfolio.
How many properties did you have when we met?
At that time, I had 5 properties.
5 buy-to-let properties in Scotland?
In Scotland, in a lovely part of Scotland.
What did you think about at the crash course and generally, because I know you went to the academy,
yes.
And I'm talking about refinancing and taking your equity, put into bigger stuff, was that like an aha moment? Was that something you were planning to do anyway? Was that a fear? Was there a bit of fear there?
Well, before I joined the academy, I was, looking at it. I didn't know the process. I wasn't sure. There wasn't a great deal of information out there. And, I was thinking, and I got some advice off some people. They said, oh, you could refinance your portfolio. But I didn't really know what I wanted to do once I'd done that. Did I do the same thing I was doing before? It's not that great, I don't think. I wanted to scale up and do bigger things, but I didn't have the confidence to do it. So when I joined the crash course, I still was like, okay, I need to go and find out and get some knowledge. And, with the experience I've got already, I want to be a professional property developer and look at all my options. Went to the crash course and thought, this is amazing. Loved the environment, loved being around people that were, really motivated in property. And, at the crash course, I ended up on the stage, got one of the best deals. And that's where it started from.
How long was it after the crash course when you found your first deal?
I think when I went back from the crash course, that was me. Joined the academy at the crash course straight away.
You were just like, bang!
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, now I'm going to go and do my homework. I'm going to go and try to find a deal. That's what I did. I went out to Doncaster, looked at a little HMO, and it was one of these online agents. Went there, it looked nothing like the pictures. It was a shambles. And I thought, gosh, this is such a disappointment. Came all this way. A couple of agents who were showing it on behalf of the vendor said, listen, why don't you come and have a look at something else? We've got a friend that's got this big commercial property. I was like, okay. He goes, it's a little walking distance, and then maybe we'll go for lunch or something. Good, sounds good. Went along, and it's this, and I'm like, he goes, the vendor will meet you. And I goes, okay, cool. We'll meet the vendor. And I met the vendor, and I was like, looking like, where's this HMO that I'm looking at? And he showed me this office block, and I was like, okay. He's like, do you want to come in? I was like, just overwhelmed by the size of it. And he goes, here it is. And I was like, okay. I goes, listen, I'm a wee bit out of my comfort zone here. you're wanting like 312k for this. I haven't got that money. And how am I going to raise it? And he's like, look, you've got a bit of experience. He goes, we all start off somewhere. If you're interested. And I was like, I don't think I can do this. You know, I was like, I really appreciate your time, but I think this is just totally out of my league. And I was looking at this office block and, you know, what am I going to do with it, you know? And he's like, oh, we've got outline plans here and there. And looking at the plans, I was looking at them and I just still couldn't make head or toe because there was a couple of options because it was outline planning. So I was like, okay. And I was like, listen, really appreciate your time, but I think this is just too much.
You've seen it, overwhelmed, then what happens?
So obviously I was like, this was too much for me. I can't do this. On the launch pad, wrote down all the things we were going to do while we were hunting. I thought, do you know something? I'm going to go for it. Phoned him back and thought, yeah, do you know something? I'm going to do this. And, you know, I spoke to Anthony, I spoke to, you know, yourself and, you know, a few other people, and I was really excited. And I thought, okay, I've got the backup here. Don't know how I was going to do it. No idea how I'm going to buy it. I hadn't even approached the refinance situation, but I'd spoken, somebody had said to me in Glasgow, you know, there's a guy that can do it for you. And I was like, okay, because I hadn't got that far in the academy to meet anybody that's to do with finance or whatever. And he says he'll charge a percentage of the portfolio. It's going to cost you about 8-9 grand, whatever. And I says, okay, whatever. And I started that process before I'd got any education, and it all went wrong. He made some mistakes and stuff. I don't know what happened. I didn't get the refinance, you know, at the beginning of the stages. So I thought, sugar, you know, I've given my word to the vendor now. And I obviously approached Anthony and I spoke to yourselves and I said, well, you know, we've got a team that, you know, that can help you with that. Sophia Jones was fantastic. She's like, look, I can help you with this, because she was on stage, you know, got chatting to her. She refinanced my whole portfolio. It was brilliant. I think it cost me about 1,500 quid. So my academy fee was already paid, you know, with just one contact. And that was it. And I remember speaking to Anthony and again, I was like, refinances came through, I'm going to get it. You know, and the vendor was really patient. He was fantastic, you know, because he really wanted me to take that step into doing bigger things. So that was when it started. And I remember still to this day, you know, giving Anthony the figures. That goes, can you please check this? Because I don't think this is right. I looked at the worst scenarios just with the 5-bed HMO, the 10-bed HMO, the retail unit. And I goes, is that right? And he goes, no, that's right. And he goes, what do you think? He goes, that's phenomenal. And he was really interested in it himself. He's like, well, if you don't want it.
But having people to just say, is this good? Have I missed anything? Are there any blind spots? It's so valuable. So you bought that property then straight off the back of the crash course pretty much. You're on the academy. What happened with it and what did you do with it?
Okay, then I had outline planning. I started looking at the process and I thought, okay, I've bought it now. Got a little bit of money, but not enough to do it, you know, and what do I do? I'm going to have to raise some money. So raised some money from family and friends and started the process, and COVID kicked in, which was just massive. You know, I had a contractor that was doing work for me, you know, over a period of time now. The project that was 18 months ended up like 24 months, even longer. And, you know, his guys were leaving him, materials were up 40%. It was unbelievable, and I was like, gosh, you know, I'm coming here every week and things aren't being done. So he didn't have the guys, he didn't ask me for more money. And the guys he was getting just weren't doing the work to the quality or the finish that was expected. And I wasn't aware of all the issues because I didn't have any control over this, you know, multi-trade company that I'd employed, because they had a private clerk of works that would sign off at every stage. So I was just told it's getting done. I can't see what's behind the, you know, the sockets, if they're fire protected at the back, and is there fire collars, you know, and the waste pipes and the drainage, because things were just getting covered on. And the contractor was saying to the clerk of works, we'll just send you pictures. So things were really bad.
What did you do? Did you have to get rid of them?
Yeah, I had to get rid of them.
You just fired them?
Yeah. And I thought, they were willing to plod on along, but they were like a couple of guys out, materials weren't there, I'd paid for stuff that wasn't, you know, they just couldn't do it because of, to be honest, costs has went up so much as well.
At this point though, did you feel Were you like afraid? Did you think that this might just all go, your entire life savings from what you built up with the property portfolio gone?
I was like, shit, this is massive. It had a big effect on me personally, on my, it was a lot of pressure. Horrible situation. And I thought, but no, I'm not going to give up here. Yeah. I've had enough. And at the same time, when I'd started what I put in for planning for penthouse apartments, came across so many issues with that. It was within cartilage of a listed building. Was I going to get the cherry on the cake? Was having to build on top of this building. It had not been done in the area before. I had everything against me. Came up with a meeting with the conservation officer. He said, nope, you're not getting anything here. And I was like, come on, please come up and have a look.
So you got that pressure. So you got planning permission saying no. Obviously, you've got the outline planning for the initial.
Yes.
But the build costs were going up. Yep. Couldn't get the extra planning for the apartments that you wanted.
Yep.
In lockdown.
Yep.
Fired the builders.
Yep.
At this point,
I was by myself.
Yeah.
And I thought, I'm going to have to get on the tools. I'm going to have to live on site. I'm going to have to do it. Based in Glasgow. Do you know what I mean? 4-hour drive.
Damn.
And the conservation officer came up and I showed him, persuaded him with, local architect, Shane Marsh, Building Link Design, who's phenomenal. He arranged a meeting and gave him the sketch, and the conservation officer said, yeah, I think that we can do something here. And wow.
So what was that with that? Just pure persistence?
Persistence to get the conversation, to get the meeting.
Yes.
But also using my little knowledge that I had of the massing issues. I've worked on grade 1, grade 2 listed buildings in Scotland, all period properties, so I knew that there were certain things that I would have to satisfy him with.
Yes.
So I'd done my homework beforehand.
Right.
But there's no guarantee.
There's not with planning, with getting planning permission, because the council can just say, no, we don't like it.
No, that's it.
And they were very worried about the listed building, weren't they? Because they didn't want they didn't want your new big high penthouse to overlook the listed building. Yeah. How did you get around that? How did you persuade the council and the conservation officers to agree?
So when I took them onto the roof, it was a flat roof, but there was a section where it dropped down about 3.5-4 feet. So it was sunk.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, I goes, listen, why can't I build something and drop it in there, cut a large hole in the building and drop 2-tier precast staircase connecting it to the penthouse with the internal building. And the conservation officer said, I was wondering why, your 5-bed and 10-bed HMO, you changed the whole layout and kept the original staircase. He goes, it makes sense. Yes. He goes, this makes sense.
Yeah.
He goes, I like the concept, and I basically wanted to do it so it didn't look like an extension. Precast staircase made out of concrete, craned in, brought in, dropped in. I had to do myself. Things were really bad, tight. With the help of an engineer and my guys, I've got quite a bit of knowledge when it comes to doing, building works anyway. And I came up with a design of full ceiling heights at 2.4 meters. And not affecting the building next to me.
Right. Smart.
Yes.
So you got the planning?
Yes.
How long did it take to get the planning?
Okay, the planning process took quite a while because obviously, COVID had kicked in and everything and things were difficult. And it took me probably about 5-6 months.
Okay.
6 months, wasn't bad.
What the outline figures in? So you bought it for 312.
Yes.
And at that point you didn't really know what you were doing, bit out your depth.
Oh, totally out of my depth.
But then you went through the process, you persisted, you continued to gain knowledge, you got planning. How much did the entire refurb and the construction cost of everything that you built?
Okay, so I was looking at roughly about 850 to 900,000.
Including the purchase?
Yes, including the purchase.
Okay.
Because the reason why, I was going to be struggling, I wasn't sure what valuation I was going to get. What I decided to do was try to go as high end and go for a small pool of the market, which is professionals. I was up against it. People said that area was never going to be.
Oh, mate, you received more criticism and skepticism from everybody, even like the rents.
Yes.
You're never going to be able to rent those rooms out in Doncaster.
Yeah.
The HMO market's saturated.
Yes.
But you went down the co-living route
Yes.
high end,
Yes.
high refurb.
Yep.
So the refurb, it was what, 600 grand then just for the refurb?
About 600k, yeah.
600k plus so you're talking, 900 grand all in.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Yes. So when I thought, okay, and people are, you're never going to get a commercial valuation as well. Harley Welsh at 24/7 Property, who's a fantastic agent in the area, who was very supportive through the whole process. I had a conversation with him early on, and I said, do you think there's a market for, I'm going to create a product for you. Can you get me the clients? Because he goes, I can do it.
Yeah.
And I was, okay, you sure?
And I've met the clients now.
Yes.
I've met all the tenants.
Yes, professionals, that are willing to pay a bit more than what a lot more over
for a premium product.
For a premium product.
So if you spent 600 grand on the refurb plus 312,000 for the purchase, you're talking about 900 all in.
Yes.
You then got a new valuation.
Yes.
And the banks were happy to lend.
Yes.
What did the new valuation come in at?
It was at 1.7 million.
Respect.
Yeah.
So you pulled out, and what loan to value did they give you?
75%.
And what was the bank?
Shawbrook
Bank gave you a 75% loan to value. So that's 1.7 million. So that means you must have pulled out more money than you put in.
Yeah.
1.7 million times 75%. So you pulled out about 1.27.
Yes.
Wow. Deal of the and you ended up getting Property Developer of the Year award.
That's right.
On the Academy.
And I still felt that, I didn't do that great.
Why did you feel that?
I think because when I originally costed it, with the contractor, basically from what I learned with the Academy, I used all that information to project how the costings, but I suppose I felt I didn't do very well, because it wasn't what I initially set out to do and to achieve.
You were a bit annoyed with yourself for letting the budget go over a little bit.
Yeah, but then I couldn't stop COVID.
No, you can't.
I couldn't stop the material costs, the labour issues, and that's why I was, living on site, working, doing the most.
Was it worth it?
Yeah, 110%.
How much profit did that deal make then?
Probably, about 800 odd K.
That's incredible.
Obviously, we leave some money in the pot, with the refinance and stuff.
So about 800 grand, almost $1 million profit on one deal in
'cause
Doncaster.
if you take loan to value, what you've left in the pot, as well. But really, to be honest, I wasn't too concerned. I was just happy to get out and
complete the project.
Complete the project, because people were saying to me, stick it in an auction, you're not going to survive this. How are you even going to get a valuation? There was a lot of procrastination from people and saying, even to people that are very experienced in that area, landlords, so you'll never get those rents. It's impossible.
But you are getting those rents.
It speaks for itself.
And if you weren't getting those rents, you wouldn't get the value. Because when the value comes out, what's the total rent roll across the entire building?
I think it's in the region of 15.5.
I think it works out at
was it 16?
I think it's about 16.5 grand, including
the retail unit. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Because you've got 21 rooms.
Yes.
Over 4 flats.
Yes.
And then you've also got the retail unit,
That's
which is massive, by the way.
Yes.
And they love it. It's buzzing
They love
in
it,
there.
and it's just an introductory rent at the moment. Because
who's the tenant in there? What's their name?
It's Aram and Aki. There's a few people at Aqua that are involved in it.
And they're on a 21-year lease.
Yes.
Fully repairing insured lease.
And they've got the biggest world food store in South Yorkshire at the moment with that.
So is that what you used when you made that 800 grand? Is that what you used to then start buying other properties, other commercial stuff?
Yes.
Okay, so you're just snowballing.
Yeah, so now, I'm in a position where I want to be buying, I went through bridging as well. I got money from friends and family.
Yeah.
So I went through the whole process and then using, a top commercial bank. So I thought, okay, how much money have I got here? Once I give people back money that I own, bits and pieces and stuff, where am I at? And, I'd like to go and get some small projects. And if I can buy some of them outright and finance them, refurb and add value. And looking at the current market, have lots of different strategies, sites that I've got the worst scenarios, the best scenarios.
Yeah. And you've bought some properties for your family members as well, right?
Yeah, I've helped my mum move from our family home to move near me. And that process was, it was our family home for, over 40 years. And, in Scotland, in a lovely part of the West End in Glasgow, and, got the highest mid-terrace ever to be sold in that area. And then I brought her nearer to myself, and I refurbed that for my mum within 6 to 8 weeks. got her moved in, she loves it.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about, really, isn't it?
You know, I was involved with other family members and other things as well, helping them along in their journey as well, letting them to do more themselves, and just if they come across any complex issues, helping them out.
You know what? So many people, when they become super successful, especially in property development, they keep their cards so close to their chest. They don't want to. They would never come on YouTube like this and share what they're doing. But I think one of the things I love about you is you've got a really giving heart. You've helped so many people on the academy. You know, passing on your information, helping your family.
There has been a lot of people in the journey that I've tried my best, you know, to help them. And I definitely do enjoy, because people don't want to share knowledge. Nobody wants to tell you how to do it. And you know, years ago when I started off as a novice, you know, there was no information available. Nobody wanted. The ones that were successful didn't want to share anything.
No.
Now, if I can help someone and possibly share an experience that I've been through that is, you know, can save them some money, some heartache, some hassle, I'll help everyone that comes in my way.
What do you think about some of the commercial properties that I bought last year?
Oh, phenomenal. You showed me them now, and I just think, that's just on another level. I think you've structured some great deals together. Yeah, it's really interesting, and I can't wait to see you put them through as what plans you've got.
And I can't wait for us. I have a feeling we're going to be doing things together. You're coming down to the academy dinner in a couple of weeks, which will be great.
I'm looking forward to it.
Coming down to my house, the Accelerate Coaching Performance Program. Are you excited about that?
Yeah, I've kind of held off from doing it. I should have done it a long time ago, but then I thought, I really want to come and see you.
Yeah, well, it's part of the academy.
Yeah,
you have to do it.
Yeah, I know it's been a while, but it's took me a while to get where I'm going. And I think, I want to get value from where I'm at now.
Yeah.
Bring as much as I can to you.
Oh, now we're peers now. What would you say your purpose for all of this is? Because you've had to fight some real battles.
Yeah.
What is it that keeps you going through the tough times?
Do you know what keeps me going is that I've got a lot of things I want to do. I want to change the world in my own little way. And that is, what really drives me, and my big why is that, when there's people that don't have clean drinking water, or children that spend all day going up and down hills, and you can't get an education because they can't have clean drinking water that costs 150 quid to set up a well in their village or, their town, wherever we are. And just, there's so much, poverty in the world. And if I can make lots of money, and if I can use my money to change somebody's life, and for me, looking at these people, and I've got family and I've got friends that are involved in lots of projects, I can help just by giving them money towards it. And I can see the pictures, I can see the videos, but I actually want to physically go there. And I want to be building, those homes for them, or I want to be helping in the orphanages, bringing my skill set physically instead of just looking at the videos and the pictures. And using my own money that I want to generate through property. There comes a point where you've got a nice home, you've got nice cars, you've got all the material things you want, but it doesn't really satisfy me. I think being driven with that big why that you can change somebody's life with very little money. For me, it's phenomenal.
Have you got any plans to go anywhere?
Yes, to go away. I'm wanting to go away and have a family holiday, which is long due.
Yeah. Well, if you fancy coming out to Uganda with us, bro,
I'd love to.
We should make that happen. We've just built a hospital. We built 2 schools, thousands of kids.
I can't wait.
Let's
I'd
make
love that
happen.
Opportunity, because now I sold my business in October.
Yeah,
Because remember, like when I was on this property journey, I still had a retail business.
Yes.
I used to get up at 5 a.m.
I remember.
I used to work 4 days there with my staff, and then I would make my way to Doncaster, stay on site 3-4 days a week.
Did you get the sale you wanted for the business?
To be honest, I'm happy, because retail is really difficult.
Yeah. You're happy to be out of it?
I'm happy to be out of it.
Full-time in property.
Full-time in property.
Millionaire, now coming to Uganda.
Oh, I can't wait.
And I'll tell you something as well, Kamron. The work that you've done, I've seen your projects. You're making a massive difference in the communities. Yes, you're making money. I've met your tenants. You're providing a great service and a great product, and that's enough. You should be proud of that.
Yeah, and I think, you know, even my commercial tenant, I see how, the project, I helped him with the commercial project with my experience in retail for 33 years as well. There was something lovely he said to me. He goes, with your hands, he goes, you've changed so many people's lives. And I was like, what are you talking about? I don't get it. No, you did this. No, he goes, no, came through you. If you hadn't gave us this opportunity, you hadn't walked us through the process of getting this commercial unit ready, all the legislation, all the things, to do it on a level that is, professional and different from everywhere. I changed that whole street.
Yeah, you did.
I did. And, it speaks for itself.
And they got a shopping mall.
Yeah.
And all kinds of other stuff. But I'll tell you something though, like those tenants, they love you. They love you. So, and when the builders had to leave site, you were on your hands and knees.
Yes.
So you deserve every success you've got. And I've loved working with you.
No, thank you. Likewise, I couldn't have done it without the support from yourself, Samuel, Anthony, all the lads, all the team. Ricky, the first time I got on the stage.
Ricky Mandel.
On the crash course, But I definitely think, that I got so much from that experience.
Love, bro.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you again. Thanks very much.